What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Rad Dad channel video, or welcome if it's your first time. Either way, very glad to have you. We are doing a forward control install today. In case you can't read the thumbnail and you only look at pictures like I do, I wore a TC Bros shirt. Well, you know what? I guess that doesn't matter anyway, because if you can't read, you just can't read. Let's roll the intro and we'll get into it.
Riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a YouTube channel, it's the riding down a video down.
So yeah, you saw the thumbnail. Hopefully, you should have. TC Bros. There's a lot of different kits, especially for the sports. There's been around forever. There's like forward controls, further forward controls, further back mid controls, further forward mid controls, further back mid controls, rear sets, further forward rear set. There's, you name it, your foot can be anywhere from all the way back there to all the way up there. But we did forwards. You guys know I'm trying to do like a chopper style build. That's why we got the ape hangers, the mini ape hangers and some stuff going on right now with it. So I'm trying to do a, that kind of aesthetic build with it. Forward controls, definitely the way to go for this kind of bike. It's not a performance-oriented bike, especially on a Sportster. It's a smaller frame, so I can get away with doing forward controls and being comfortable because I am shorter. Well, I'm hoping that's the fact. we'll see at the end of this video. But yep, I did wear my TC Bro shirt. It's a pretty cool shirt. Hopefully I can have you guys see without showing you my butt. There you go. Yeah, so pretty cool shirt that I did go ahead and buy as well. Everything was really well packaged. I'll put a picture up right now. This install is going to be a little over the top, kind of a little weird. Behind you, I have a box for a new exhaust. So to make things easier for today and easier for the future, I'm going to go ahead and, so because you have to take part of the exhaust off to get to the mid sets where they're at right now, or the mid controls. I don't know why I said mid sets. You have to take some of the exhaust at least off to get to where the bolt is. So what I'm going, or bolts, multiple bolts. So what I'm going to do is just take the entire exhaust off. You guys will see that video. So if you need to reference this video, or see that in the video, if you need to reference this video for whatever reason to see how to take an exhaust off, even though it's super simple, you literally just take all the bolts wherever they are off. So if you guys need to reference that for the next week's video for the exhaust in this video, you can, I guess, if you need to. But I will show you guys everything I do. But first off, we're going to take off the entire exhaust, and then we're going to take off the right side controls. Going to put the right side controls on, then turn the bike around, which is going to be tedious in this setup, and then do the left side. TC Bros doesn't come with any, let me just double check before I tell you guys. Oh, they do come with installed directions. They're on the bottom, which, I mean, you guys don't have to worry about that because I'm going to be showing it to you anyway, and controls are fairly easy to do. Yeah, I'm really excited. I did go ahead on the TC Bros website. You can order several different configurations of this. I went ahead and bought the one with the included shifter, brake, and foot pegs as well, because I just felt like they really fit the chopper aesthetic, and it was less than $100 to add all four of these, which if you're buying even just a set of foot pegs, it's typically more than $100. So I figured might as well, if I ever want to upgrade for more of a, because this is like a polished stainless, so if I ever want to upgrade to like more of a very chromed out style, or like mini floorboards or something like that, I can always do that after the fact. But it was almost a no-brainer to do this because it's super cheap. So without further ado, let's start the takeoff process. right, now comes the fun part. We're actually going to be able to install the forwards. The only other part I left out is this part. You take this little, almost kind of holding block where it has the spot for the wire hold. You have to take this part out because now that we have forwards, we're actually going to be using these holes. So. All right, first step is going to be, and I will say this before I forget, in case I don't show anything on camera, make sure you blue Loctite, blue thread lock, pretty much everything for this entire install. So first step for the shifter side is going to be to find the thingy that looks like this. This is going to curve back. Bolts are going to be right there. So let's blue Loctite, and each bolt has a washer. Let's do some Loctite here. Technically some Permatex. I didn't even check the bolt size. Hopefully I have it handy with me, otherwise I'm going to have to go to the toolbox. Obviously hand start it. And I'm almost positive, well, maybe it's this one. Nope, nope. One larger. And of course, torque it down to the Harley recommended torque specs, just like you would everything, because if you don't, then your Screaming Eagle warranty will be voided and you won't be able to get your low horsepower and torque numbers. All right, so 9/16, if anybody is curious. Get this torque down pretty good. You don't want to go too tight, but you do want to go tight enough that it's good. All right. You don't want to go too tight that a righty-tighty becomes a lefty-loosey. All right, next step, just to kind of prepare for the rest of the stuff we got going on there. And they do make little hole blockers if you really want to block that. You're not going to be able to see it with exhaust and everything either, so I really don't care. After all is said and done, I'll probably come in with a zip tie and zip tie this to that just to hold it a little bit better instead of just this little clip. But yeah, anywho, we're going to go ahead and do the shifter rod. So one end is going to be a smaller, and you do not use blue Loctite on this. You'll see why in a second. One end is going to be a smaller hole than the other one. The smaller one goes to this kind of T shape that I can't think of the name right now of this. Oh, my bad, wrong one. Of this fitting. Dude, I know the name. I just can't think of it right now. You'll need to thread a nut on there. I'm going to thread it about halfway because this is what's going to be the adjustable linkage to control how high or low your brake side is. And I don't know why I said shifter a second ago. This is the brake link because the right side is brake, obviously. But this is going to go right here. This you do want to use blue Loctite on the part that connects to your master cylinder. You definitely don't want to lose that. And instead of using a star bolt like the earlier one that we took off, it uses a 3/8. So go ahead and tighten that down. This is kind of easier said than done. It's a kind of tight spot in here, and of course, it's just slightly annoying to get to, so give me a few seconds. We'll try to get this part done. All right, once you get this part all good and snugged down, time to install the second part, which I just had a notch. Oh, there it is. So you're going to need to thread a nut onto here a little bit as well. This is what's going to basically, when your final spot that you want your brake lever to be, once you make this adjustment to make it farther out or less out, why can't I think of the name? You're going to tighten the nut down on that to see exactly, or to lock it, exactly where you want it. So right now we're just going to do kind of a rough estimate. About halfway. I'll have to put my riding shoes on, the shoes that I typically wear riding, and we'll figure that out after that's on the bike. You got that part done. Time to go ahead and put the actual connecting rod for the shifter. You're going to need this piece, 2 bolts like this with locking washers, and this greasy son of a gun. So first step is going to be to take this out hopefully without getting any grease everywhere. And this is going to fit in there. And this, which we are going to use some blue Loctite on, is going to thread up from the bottom according to the diagram. And hopefully this works here. Hey, look at that. Thread up through the bottom to hold that sucker in place. Oh, look at that grease. Let's wipe some of that off. All right, I didn't even bother to check the thread size. I'm going to hope, and I don't think it's going to be this. It's going to be too small, I believe. Oh, yeah, way too small. All right, let's see what else we got lying around here. Is it going to be a 7/32? Nope, too small. Okay, okay. I didn't think it was that big, but maybe it is a 1/4. I guess that would make sense. Yep. All right, so this bolt is a 1/4, if you need to know. Tighten that son of a gun down. Now the shifter, just in case or I don't know why I keep saying shifter. It's the brake. Jesus. I don't know, just in case yours doesn't come with it, you got to make sure these, I guess they're copper, maybe, I don't think they're brass, whatever they are, these kind of bushings are pre-installed in it. And you're going to make sure that obviously it goes like this, and it is going to be facing out. So make sure it's like that with this part interior. Slide that sucker on. Should be a relatively tight fit, but it should go on pretty smooth at the same time once it passes that kind of initial area where that bolt goes in. Oh yeah, buttery smooth. Oh yeah. And that'll work itself even smoother, you know, as time comes. Next step is going to be to use this guy with this kind of concave part facing in. This is what's going to hold your actual peg for your foot. So this is going to go in right like that, and then kind of same deal, same bolt. Like I said before, we got two of them. Use some blue Loctite on that sucker. Now we know what size it is, and you're going to thread it up through the bottom just like you did on the actual bracket from the bike for the, I don't know what to call that, the pole, I guess. All right, pretty much the final step here is going to be to connect the actual brake rod to the brake lever, I guess? Yeah, brake lever. I'm not the best with terminology. All right, it's going to be this long bolt, thread through this, and then this piece, or I lied, I'm sorry. So it's going to be this long bolt threaded through here, and then this bushing, tube, whatever you want to call it, and then that piece is going to thread through this. Why can't I get it here? There we go. Thread through that, and then this, do not use thread locker on nylock nuts. We're going to put that in there. And of course, I don't have that size wrench with me. So for the sake of editing, this is what happened. Assume I got it on and it's tightened, and there you go. Cut to the next scene. All right, now the only final steps for this entire side to be done is to install the brake peg and the foot peg, and that's it. And of course, you guys saw my kit came with it. So first, we're going to go ahead and install the foot peg, which requires this nut, which, oh boy, I hope it's half. Of course it's not. Why don't I have nothing that I need here? All right, so that one happens to be a 9/16. All right, and of course I'll drop it too. All right, blue thread locker. Should have done that after I put it through, but whatever. Blue thread locker, then put this holder in there. It's rounded on both sides, so it doesn't really matter. What does matter is what position you get this in, because this is where your foot peg is going to sit, and it's going to rotate up and down. So you don't want it going that way, because then your foot's going to slip off, and you obviously don't want it going back, because then it's going to be completely off. You want it up, but you do want it at a little bit of an angle in case you do scrape your pegs. That way it comes up a little bit. So about right there. So we didn't tighten that down yet, because I'm going to use this to gain a little bit of leverage. Now this bolt is a nylon lock washer, so no thread locker on that. Make sure that the rounded end of this, see there's a round and a squared, rounded end goes up, bolt goes through, and locking nut on the back. And I didn't check, so hopefully, of course not, it's different size. So which one is this? Half? No, probably not. Probably 9/16. Yep, 9/16 for that guy. And this is going to be... All right, so 9/16 for the locking nut and 7/32 for the bolt. And okay, I thought I cut myself there, but it was just some grease. False alarm. All right, so tighten this down. You don't want to go crazy tight on this. Oh, apparently that was too small. Maybe it is a half. Nope, it's not a half. So what heckin' size is this? No, it is 9/16. It was just slipping off because of the angle. So let me go to the open-ended side. And I know you guys probably can't see because of the camera angle, but you guys know what I'm doing, so hopefully you don't need to see it that much. All right, make sure that's tight. It's still free to move. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and use the wrench to tighten this down. Make sure we got it where we want it. I went on it about probably right like that. I think that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down like so. And you could always adjust this. Ooh, that was sharp. Guess I had a little bit of a spot on the back of that. Oh. It's okay. Your body makes new blood anyway. It's okay. So we're going to go ahead and tighten this up. Pretty good. You do want this fairly tight. It is the only thing between your foot and a road. And get more blood. All right. There you go. Probably go a little bit tighter. All right, there we go. And now, foot peg is done. Shifter or brake peg is even easier. It already comes with a bolt in it. A little bit of blue Loctite actually first. There we go. A little bit of blue Loctite. And thread that sucker in. Just tighten it up. Of course, it's a different Allen. It's always a different Allen size. And this one is 3/16 in case you needed to know. Make sure this one's good and tight. You might have to grab with if you don't have Superman hands like me, you might have to grab a rag and grip it because this knurling is pretty tough. But the bright side is the knurling does give you a lot of purchase power on there. That should be good. I'm probably going to go ahead with a wrench and a towel, tighten that down off camera just to really make sure, because your foot is going to be on it, hitting the brake, you know, and rotating a little bit. So you want to make sure that that does not come loose, you know, untightened, loose, I don't know, whatever. All right, over to the brake side. This is done. Also, it goes without saying, well, I guess it doesn't go without saying because I have to say it, but make sure that once you put your riding shoes on, you sit, maybe even take a few rides, you're going to have to adjust where this brake lever or brake peg and lever sit with this. But other than that, you are good to go on this side. All right, theoretically, this should be the easy side. I know the angle kind of sucks. I can't get any lower with my camera setup, but thankfully once we put the bolts on of that part, everything will be a little bit farther out and everything will be clear to see. Yeah, so let's go. All right, so similar to the other side, you'd have these two bolts with washers, and they are going to go on this piece with these nubbies facing in. So let's go ahead, put them in there, get some blue Loctite. Bear with me a second, I put the cap on because I had to move things. So some blue Loctite, hopefully you guys can see that. Oh boy, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Oh my God, robbed of my sneeze. That is the worst, the absolute worst. All right, so on this side, I did leave this little spacer. It barely takes up any space, and it is holding quite a bit of things on there, so I just went ahead and left it. I can't even tell if I'm threading the hole. It's such an odd, awkward angle for me to hold on to. I highly doubt that's where it's supposed to be. Nope, not even close. All right, time to switch angles here. Guys, this is really depressing for me, actually, this whole build, because, or today, this whole install, because I have a, you know, if you're familiar with the channel, you know I have a whole motorcycle lift at my actual house that would have made this job incredibly easy and is exactly the type of thing that I bought the lift for, and unfortunately can't bring it here, which is super depressing because since I bought it, I haven't really gotten to take full advantage of it yet, which really sucks. So, all right, once that's on, let's go ahead and get that tightening down. This should be 9/16 size as well. Yep. Let's make sure that's on there to the German torque specs. Good and tight. Good and tight. Don't cancel me. I'm just reiterating the joke. No one, I didn't make it up. Oh, this is such an awkward angle because the bike is leaning this way. I hate this. This would have been so much nicer with my lift. Camera angles would have been better. Everything would have been so much better. Let's go back and tighten this one up again. Okay. Once that's done, off camera, what I'm going to go ahead and do, actually, you might, oh, it's on camera, never mind. Wide angle view from the DJI Osmo Action 4. All right, so this is going to go on sort of backwards of how the original one went on. The original one you saw kind of came up into the L. This is going to go straight down. I'm probably going to have to take that bolt. Yep, take that bolt out just like the original one. And of course it's on there tight enough that I need the wrench. All right. God, it's crazy how we take things for granted sometimes. When I was in my old location, everything was so nice. Oh, it's so depressing. All right. Some thread locker. Put this sucker on there with this, most of this sticking out. Obviously, you need the bolt location in the middle with, you know, that part on the bend. Do keep this little spacer on there. You do need this spacer. It's kind of like a rubbery spacer. Definitely keep that on there. And again, this is something that's going to need to be, you know, changed while we're on the bike. So who knows what actual level it's going to be at. I'm trying to get this sucker on there. It is a tight fit. Might have to hit it with the old rubber mallet. Perfect. Rubber mallet always does the trick. Tighten that up just a little bit, at least that way it aligns itself. All right, once that's on, we're going to take the shorter rod that's in the kit, take the two kind of narrow nuts, thread them on here. This is going to be how you're adjusting your shifter. Now I can actually say shifter instead of brake. I don't know what was going on in my head earlier, but both sides are threaded male ends. Both sides are going to need to put a nut on, and then I'm going to go ahead and put, and I cannot think, you'd think in one of these brakes I would have Googled it so I didn't sound like an idiot, but you know. So let's go ahead and put these on both sides, and no Loctite on these. This is not something you want to Loctite. You're going to want to use, or you're going to want these to move freely and only lock it up by the nut and tightening that end. All right. Now, I'm going to remove the bolt that came on this side. You do want to put some Loctite on there. Nice chrome finish. Beautiful. Make sure that you get it in the hole there. And go ahead and start threading it back to where it came. This is something you can go ahead and tighten down now. And of course I guessed the wrong size. Why would I guess the right size? This is 3/16, if you are curious. Go ahead and snug that down now. Hopefully you won't have to make any adjustments where you need to take that off. You can just take it off at that end. Now we're going to go ahead and take this part, which is already assembled. So the directions for TC Bro shows you how to assemble it if you need to, but obviously this one's already assembled, so thankfully we don't really have to do anything with that. We are going to have to take the large bolt. This is going to go like this, with this angled down and with this angled up. To make things easier on ourselves, we're going to go ahead and install this before we cinch that down. That'll give us some leverage since that is what it's screwing into. Same deal as before. Rounded edge goes up, that way it can actually fold in. Bolt. Nylon locking nut. And if memory serves me correct on the sizes here, which I'm sure it won't, no, way too small. Perfect, so that side, the Allen's gonna be 7/32, and I believe that was gonna be 9/16 on here. Yep, looks like 9/16 is correct. All right, make sure that's nice and tight. And I'm sure I do not have the correct size for the larger bolt. No, way off, so let me get the correct wrench for that. I'm just gonna guess, say it's 3/4. Heck yeah. All right, so same thing with this. You're gonna want it tilted a little bit over there. Do your best to get it at a diagonal angle. And then go ahead and tighten that up. Okay. Only thing that's left to do now is to go ahead and use this bolt, no Loctite, because this is a nylon locking nut. Put it on, you guys can't really see it from down below, but put it inside the hole for the shifter. Thread the shifter, actually there's 2 more steps. Thread the bolt into the actual lever here for shifting, and then put that nylon locking nut behind there. Off camera, I'm going to tighten up. So let's pretend that on camera I did, just to speed things up here. And the actual final last step, blue Loctite on the bolt. Bolt through the hole and shifting peg. Let's thread it down. Of course, it's the wrong size. This is a 9/33, sorry, wow, 3/16. I don't know what was going on right there. Tighten that down. Use your man hands. Okay, there you go. This side is done. All right, so as you can see, the install is completely done. Not that hard at all. TC Bros kit is 100% kind of plug and play. They have absolutely everything you need for this, like right down to the bolt, everything. The only thing you're going to need is some blue thread locker and obviously the tools. I did my best to try to tell you guys all the sizes. That way, if you have limited tools and you're thinking about doing this, you make sure you have everything. You go out, and it just, I feel like, just makes it easier if you're watching something. Just, you already know what the sizes are. You just pull them or whatever if you're doing it like as you're watching it for an actual install. I did have to take my front crash bar off. I have been on the fence about taking it off. I don't love the way it looks. I don't want to use the highway pegs anyway, so I was debating on taking it off anyway. The brake side was close, but fine. Shoe kind of hit it, depending on where I was in the action of it, like all the way down, kind of hit it a little bit. The shifter side was where it had a real problem with it. Shifter sides, I just couldn't get anything out of it, like going forward to where it was suitable for my riding position. Other than that, they're great. I haven't ridden it yet, but just sitting on it and setting everything up, I am about, realistically, I'm probably 5'7". I think I'm shrinking, but my license says 5'8", so we're going to go with that. They are as far forward as I would be comfortable with this seat and bar setup. I am going to wind up taking the plus side to this is I'm going to take the, even though they're not the longevity final piece that I'm going to have on here, I am going to wind up taking the highway pegs, just the pedal or the peg themselves off of that and transferring them over to the passenger. That way, at least I have passenger pegs if I talk the wife into ever going with a ride for a ride with me on this bike. Wow, it's been a long morning. Yes, this entire installation and takeoff process would have been way simpler and easier if I used any of the numerous power tools I've spent numerous dollars on. However, when I started filming this, it was 3:30 in the morning and everybody else in the entire house was asleep. And it's not set up like the other house where the garage is kind of far away and sort of detached noise-wise to where I can get away with stuff. Unfortunately, this is not like that. So yeah, other than that, the quality of the TC Bros kit is really good. The finishes on everything is perfect. The kit, they were having a Black Friday sale. When I got this, the kit was pretty cheap for, I mean, especially when you compare it to the Harley kit. I want to say it was like $420, maybe something like that for the entire kit, including the pegs. It was like $330, I think, maybe, or some $320 or whatever like that without the pegs. The Harley kit with just kind of the basics is like over $600 last I checked. And I don't even know if they make you reuse some bolts or whatever like that. Yeah, I mean, it looks great, feels cool. I'm super excited to take it out. I can't take it out until I put an exhaust on it, which actually the camera is sitting on the exhaust box right now because it's just littered with parts everywhere. I didn't feel like extending the tripod just to collapse it again for the exhaust video. But yeah, hopefully audio and video worked out. I think I have everything, you know, you've heard me talk about it in the last 1 or 2 videos or whatever. I think I have everything 100% sorted out for that stuff. So hopefully everything is, you can hear me crystal clear. I did raise the audio level a little bit because I realized in the last videos, it's even in edit, like post-production, it's editing the volume all the way up for, it was like plus 10 or whatever. Even then it's a little bit quiet for my taste. So I did on the microphone part add or adjust the gain to a little bit higher. So hopefully it's not too much to where it's distorted. I should have tested it beforehand. Side note, TC Bros shirt. This is like one of the best fitting shirts I have. It's super soft. I have, with me, my problem is the neckline is always big when these shirts are like kind of softer. The neckline is like perfect. So I'm probably gonna order like 1 or 2 more shirts the next week or two because these fit really nice and it's hard for me to find shirts that fit. And again, this design is pretty cool. They have a bunch of different ones. This one was like $5 off, which is why I got this, and I figured I would have a shirt for the install video. But yeah, I'm not getting any kind of kickback from TC Bros. I'll post a link in the description for this kit. Super good kit. I don't know what else to say, guys. Go buy it if you want forward controls. It's super easy to do. Watch this video. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of my videos. Turn on post notifications as well. Any of these videos on this Sportster build, slowly but surely, guys, we're getting there. I appreciate everyone that hung around, and I appreciate any new subscribers that are more interested in the Sportster stuff than they were in the M8 Softail that I had. The bike's coming along, guys. It's getting there slowly but surely. It is slowly becoming what I want it to be, but I'm super excited. Got some other huge, I mean, I literally have parts everywhere in this garage. Like, you guys are literally sitting on a box of parts. So yeah, lots of stuff for this. Post notifications, make sure you're subscribed, like this video. I really do appreciate it. Check out my Instagram, TikTok, everything all in the description. Thank you guys for watching very much. Until the next time, ride safe, have fun. Dad out.